भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं उदीरयेत्। श्रीन्वतां स्मकथा कृष्णा पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विदुनोति सहृष्यताम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So we'll be reading Canto 5, Chapter 3, verses 15 and 16. Verse 15. Yadvuha vava tava punar adabra kartar iha samahutas tatrartha diyam mandanam nastad yaddeva helanam deva devarhasi साम्येन सर्वान् प्रतिबोधुम avidusham. Synonyms: yet, because, yuha vava, indeed, tava, your, puna, again, adabra kartaha, O Lord, who perform many activities, iha, here, in this arena of sacrifice, samahutaha, invited, tatra, therefore, arthadhyam, who aspire to fulfill material desires, mandanam, not very intelligent, na, of us, tat, that, yet, which, deva helanam, disrespect of supreme personality of Godhead, deva deva, lord of lords, arhasi, please, samyena, because of your equipoised position, sarvan, everything, prativodhum, tolerate, avidusham, of us who are all ignorant. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: O Lord, you perform many wonderful activities. Our only aim was to acquire a sign by performing this great sacrifice. Therefore, our intelligence is not very sharp. We are not experienced in ascertaining life's goal. By inviting you to this negligible sacrifice for some material motive, we have certainly committed a great offense at your lotus feet. Therefore, O Lord of Lords, please excuse our offense because your causeless mercy and equal mind. The priests were certainly unhappy to have called the Supreme Lord from Vaikuntha for such an insignificant reason. A pure devotee never wants to see the Lord unnecessarily. The Lord is engaged in various activities, and the pure devotee does not want to see him whimsically for his own sense gratification. The pure devotee simply depends on the Lord's mercy, and when the Lord is pleased, he can see him face to face. The Lord is unseen even by demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. By calling on Supreme Lord, the priests of Nabi Maharaja proved themselves unintelligent. Nonetheless, Lord came out of his causeless mercy. All of them, therefore, wanted to be excused by the Lord. Worship of Supreme Lord for material gain is not approved by authorities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jijnasau artarthi gnani cha bharatarsabha. O best among Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of absolute. Initiation into bhakti begins when one is distressed condition or in want of money, or when one is inquisitive to understand the absolute truth. Nonetheless, people who approach the Supreme Lord in this way are not actually devotees. They are accepted as pious Sukirtinaha due to their inquiring about the absolute truth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, not knowing the various activities and engagements of the Lord, such people unnecessarily disturb the Lord for material gain. However, the Lord is so kind that even though disturbed, he fulfills the desires of such beggars. The pure devotee is Anyabhilashita Shunya. He has no motive behind his worship. He is not conducted by the influence of Maya in the form of karma or jnana. The pure devotee is always prepared to execute the orders of Lord without personal consideration. The Ritvija the priest at the sacrifice knew very well the distinction between karma and bhakti, and because they considered themselves under the influence of karma, fruitive activity, they begged the Lord's pardon. They knew that Lord had been invited to come for some paltry reason. Text 16. इति निगदेनाविस्तु यमानो भगवान् अनिमिषर्षभो वर्षधराभिवादिताभिवन्दिता चरणा सदयम् इदम् aha synonyms. Sri Shuka Uvacha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Iti thus Nigadena, by prayers in prose, Abhisthuyamana, being worshipped, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Animisha Rushabha, the chief of all demigods, Varshadhara, by King Nabi, the emperor of Bharata Varsha, Adivadita, worshipped, Adivandita, were bowed down to Charana, whose feet, Sadayam, kindly, idam, this aha said. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, the priests who were even worshipped by King Nabi, the emperor of Bharatavarsha, offered prayer in prose. Generally, they were in poetry and bowed down at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord of the Lords, the ruler of the demigods, was pleased with them, and he began to speak as follows. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश धारणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Thank you all for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, I think Pranahari Prabhu is not here. So I think, as you see, I'll give my understanding for a couple of minutes, and then anybody wants to summarize and elaborate, I think we can open for everybody to discuss and share their realizations. So as we know, Nabi Maharaj, did the sacrifice performed, and performed on behalf of him by this priests and all. Um, they wanted a son like Supreme Lord. They performed this great yajna with qualified brahmanas, and their intention is, not ordinary material desire, but still a material desire because they want a son like a Supreme Lord. And pleased by the sacrifice, Supreme Lord appears before them in their divine form, and uh, but we also know Lord is not forced by any rituals. Lord appears, Krishna appears only by his own mercy. So as Lord appeared in front of, after the yajna, the priests were, glorifying them, saying that, Lord, we are not very intelligent. Now we, in this verse, they are clearly, said, saying and asking for pardon. We call you for a small material desire. You don't have to appear for this, very material desire, and we may be wasting your time. You don't have to appear, but you appeared on your because of your own mercy, and in they're asking for forgiveness. I think next verse talks about what you know Lord is going to say. But as you see that, there are four types of people approach the Lord, as we heard in the Bhagavad Gita 7:16. Four kind of pious men render devotional service: distress, desire of wealth, inquisitive, and we searching for knowledge of absolute, which is still okay, because approaching Lord and praying for Lord is always good, whatever the desire going to be. But as bhakti always starts with some desire, some need. When one is really in need or in distress or want money, or there is some uncertainty in the life, or they are going to any miserable condition, with mercy of devotee, or our previous karma, we always, that person always try to, in search of answers, reach out to the Lord, or come to the temple, or finding out why it's happening. There is something, uh, you know something behind this other than a material understanding. I think that's how one approaches to the god or come to the temple or start praying or knowing about it. But even though they have a material desire, it's our bhakti starts with a material desire of some kind of favor, and eventually when we chant with purity and have a devotee association and find a guru who is realized, and slowly we can our desire moves on to a pure devotion. But I think it takes a lot of time, and it's not easy to happen like that very quickly. But here, with the material desires, there was a sacrifice was done, and now priests are regretting that Lord has come on His own mercy, but they're feeling that He doesn't have to appear, and now they are realizing it. A lot of times people come to temple or pray for small things. If somebody is having uh, something going on in their life, they just want to pray and get it. But if you imagine that, Supreme Lord is taking care of everybody and maintaining the whole universe, for small, our own reasons and our own self motive, we don't want all his attention and just come to us. So I think that's what I understand. And if anybody wants to, you know, share their own realizations, please go ahead and.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely summarized. I think that you pretty much covers all the important points, like how devotees are coming with those four things, artha, arthi, all of that. And then basically also understanding what is pure devotional service. Anya bhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadi anavritam, tivra bhakti yogena bhajate purusham param. So I think those are, you pretty much covered everything. Those are the main thing. And also we can see how the brahmanas, the priests, were suddenly, they realized it, right? They were asking, but they are realizing that we didn't mean to do that, disturb you just for, asking for a son. But again, it is for the better good of the society. So it's just beautiful to see how so many of these stories can be practically applied for our own lives, right? How, when are we calling out to Krishna? Are we calling out when we are in difficulty, when we need someone, when we need something from Krishna? Is that when we are calling, or we are really calling because what's our motive, what's our intention? Is it to please the Lord? I think that's just some reflection always we have to keep doing it whenever we are doing some of our actions, just for personal reflection. But yeah, no, thank you, Prabhu, for covering nicely this morning.
Yep. Thank you, Prabhu. I just wanted to also add how this kind of section in Srimad Bhagavatam is showing us two things, right? One is, definitely there are some desires, or we are going through some material problems, then definitely we should only approach the Supreme Lord. And like the sages approached, and when Supreme Lord came, they realized that, we are asking for something very cheap. So it shows like how the Lord purifies the heart when we have some material desires, but we approach the Supreme Lord, then He purifies it. And also, this section is telling us that an intelligent devotee never asks the Lord to fulfill material desires, but rather only asks for engagement, more engagement in His service. And it just shows us the two sides of the coin. I think that's very interesting. Just wanted to add that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Give me one.
Hare Krishna.